Hello there and welcome to practice. So today we're going to be working on a sequence for those of us who really cannot weight bear at all on the wrists or the shoulders. So there are often modifications that you can do where there is just sort of shoulder difficulties, but this class today is for those who really cannot put any weight on their wrists and shoulders at all. So a hands-free, shoulder-free yoga class. I look forward to hearing how it went for you. So we're going to begin in Sukhasana, easy pose, with one shin crossed in front of the other, or you can come to a comfortable seat of your choosing, whether that's kneeling, legs extended, you know the drill. And then from here we're just going to get grounded through the sit bones, so rooting down through the seat, removing any flesh from underneath the sit bones, and then coming to that gentle upright quality of the spine as we roll the palms up into the mat to make us receptive. So soften those shoulders away from the ears and lengthen through the neck as we wriggle the crown of the head up towards the sky, and just tune in for a moment into the breath. And perhaps you can start by just observing the breath without trying to change anything in particular at all, relaxing the muscles of the face. And then as you are ready, start to lengthen and deepen the inhales and the exhales. See if you can even out the breath. And then as we are ready, inviting in an intention for our practice, whatever that may be, whatever quality you might be aligning yourself with. Any and all intentions are welcome here. And then softly bringing the palms to press in front of the heart center. Maybe tilt the chin in towards the chest in Anjali Mudra, Mudra of reverence for our practice this day. And then from here, let's softly blink the eyes open and absorb the light of our surroundings. And then from here, we're going to begin on the shoulders and in the neck. So we're just going to reach those fingertips up towards the sky and keep the shoulders nice and soft here. You can keep the elbows bent or the arms extended up as the palms roll in towards center. Draw the belly in up and underneath the floating ribs and avoid puffing out the chest. From this position, we're going to gently lower the fingertips towards the shoulders and bring the elbows in front of the body. Okay, from here, we're going to start to pass those forearms past the ears as we gently rotate on those shoulders. So moving slowly, moving gently, just to warm up those shoulders. Maybe take 3 or 4 circles in one direction. See if you can tap the wrists behind, the elbows in front. And then returning back the other way. And if you find a position on your way around that feels comfortable, dwell a while. Good. And then from here we're going to open up the elbows towards the side of the room, keep those shoulders nicely balanced and soft away from those ears, and we're going to gently start to twist from side to side slowly to begin with, and then we'll speed it up. Okay, so as we're ready, over towards the right, draw a breath in and then exhale through center towards the left. Inhale towards the right and exhale left. Inhale right, moving from the navel, drawing the belly in, keeping that spine nice and tall, and left. And right. And you might find that you prefer to start to speed things up, allowing that head to travel round with the shoulders. As you gently move from side to side, moving that energy from the spine upwards, clearing out those energy wheels. And then gently start to slow it down. And then inhale to reach those palms up, cross at those wrists and bring those palms behind the head, maybe even resting fingertips interlaced as we gently bring the right elbow down towards the right side waist as we look up towards the left. And exhale back through center, inhale to look right. Pressing through that opposing sit bone, getting that counterweight there, back through center using those belly muscles. Draw those feet in and switch across the shins as we sit tall. Inhale to reach up and exhale to go left. looking right. Inhale through centre, opposite side. Inhale through centre, and from here let's release those fingertips towards the floor. We're going to soften those shoulders away from those ears, press them down and bring that right ear towards that right shoulder. Keeping the shoulders nice and balanced. Sweep right fingertips up and overhead as we gently press through the side of the face. Gently stretching out the sides of the neck. Maybe bring left fingertips to the left shoulder and draw the ear and the shoulder apart as we keep the spine nice and tall. Exhale, release, head back through centre and over towards the other side. So softening left ear towards left shoulder. Left fingertips reach up and overhead, press against the side of the face. And then maybe right fingertips reach for the shoulder and draw that space and length through the side of the neck. Holding there. And then exhale through centre. From this position, soften that left palm in towards the sideways as we reach those right fingertips up and overhead. Softening into that elbow, twisting from the waist as we lengthen to the sides of the waist here. And then exhale through centre, over towards the other side. Inhale, reaching left fingertips up and overhead. And exhale back through centre. Okay, so from this position, we're going to sweep the feet all the way over towards the side of the room. And we're going to come on to the knees. We're going to tuck those toes. And then see if from this position we can rock back towards the heels and come all the way to standing at the front of the mat. So coming into our Tadasana here, we're going to press out through all four corners of the feet, stack those joints from the ground up, knees above ankles, hips above knees, shoulders above hips, etc. Palms roll in towards the side of the hips. And a nice stretched quality to the spine here, upright quality with the head nicely balanced, chin parallel towards the floor. Okay, from this position, we're going to come into our swaying palm tree pose. I'll just turn and face you from Tadasana. Sweep those fingertips up and overhead, palms face down to begin. Flip the palms up. As we press with the feet, we go up and over towards the right hand side, looking left. And then exhale through centre. Inhale to press back up and exhale to go to the other side, looking right. Good. Inhale back through centre. We're going to clasp those fingertips in, index fingers point up towards the sky. And we're going to steadily draw some circles on those fingertips in a clockwise direction. Maybe 3 or 4 times in one direction, then back the other way. And go carefully on the shoulders here. You can always soften at the elbows. Draw that belly in support of the spine all the way around. And then reaching up with those fingertips, extended mountain as we then exhale to trail those fingertips back alongside the hips. Roll those shoulders back from this position. In Tadasana, we're going to begin by drawing that right knee in towards the chest and towards the thighs here. So bring that knee in, loop those fingertips around the knee. Draw that knee up towards the chest, soften those shoulders, press for that standing leg. Lengthen that tailbone towards the floor. And then from this position, we're going to reach for the outside of the right foot and draw that right knee alongside left. Squeeze and press the thighs in as the right heel kicks in towards the bottom and float those right fingertips up to the sky in front. Soften those shoulders, square off the shoulders towards the short edge of the mat and holding in our Seer pose, Rishi Asana. Keep bringing that right knee in and pressing down through the right shin in this standing balance. Good, and then holding for a breath or two. Just warming up those muscles. And then from this position, we're going to release that right foot, step it back. Bring those fingertips alongside one another as we open towards the front of the room. Turn the toes out and sink the knees out towards the side of the room as we send the tailbone towards the floor. Press those knees outwards, imagining the skin stretching from the groin to the inside of the knees as we reach those fingertips up. We're going to clasp those fingers in towards the knuckles and bring the palms of the hand forwards. I'll just turn sideways. As we gently round the spine, softening those shoulders, pressing through the heels of the palms. Draw the belly in, pressing strongly and firmly through the feet, keeping those knees pressing outwards, moving from the thighs. And then from here, we're going to inhale up and release the palms out towards the side of the room. Exhale, inhale, reaching back up. Exhale, interlace those fingers, press the palm away round the spine. And then inhale to release. Again, inhale, reaching up, interlace those fingers, press the heels of the palms away, around the spine, pressing through. Good. And then from this position, we're going to reach those fingertips up and bring our hands to the hips as we turn the toes in and the heels out. Setting up for Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward fold. So big toes in, heels apart, hands at the hips here. Broaden out the shoulders, lift the chest, scoop the belly in, tuck the tailbone underneath you. And then from here, we're going to gently lengthen from those hip points, forwards, hinging from those hips as we reach the crown of the head forwards. Press through into those heels, bring that weight back as we reach the crown of the head forwards. I'll just turn sideways. Keep that back nice and flat. Now feel free to stay here with the hands at the hips, or you can gently lower the fingertips towards the floor. No weight bearing at all required here, but you can lower the crown of the head towards the floor and bend at the elbows softly as you continue to press through the heels and spin those heels wide. That crown of the head lowers. If you struggle with dizzy spells at all, keep the head lifted above the chest, otherwise lowering the crown of the head towards the floor, lengthening down. To come out, we inhale, put a soft bend back in those knees, bring those hands back towards the hips, press through the feet, nice flat back to rise all the way up. And then we can hop, step or float the feet back in towards centre and step towards the front of our mat to repeat on the other side. So I'll just turn this way. So bringing our fingertips alongside those hips into our Tadasana. From this position, we're going to steadily bring those fingertips around that left knee as we loop the palms around the knee, draw those toes back, press through that standing leg. Soften those shoulders, reach the crown of the head up. Really sort of testing our balance here, engaging the core muscles, just warming up still. And then from here we're going to sweep that left foot back, reach for the outside edge of the foot, right hand to hip to begin. Close off those knees as we lengthen the tailbone, draw the belly in. Then press through the left shin towards the floor as we then float the right palm up and away, floating through the fingertips. Keep lengthening that tailbone down. Engaging those thighs in towards centre, so spin them internally as if to press a brick between them. Fingertips float up. Good. And then from this position, we're going to release that left foot, step it back. Turn those toes outwards. As we interlace those fingertips, turn those toes out and bring our fingertips up towards the sky, pressing through the heels of the palms as we then exhale to round, softening those shoulders away. Inhale to lift and open. Exhale, interlacing, pressing palms away and rounding. Sink a little deeper. Knees press out over those ankles. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale to fold and round forwards. Good. Again, inhale, reaching up. And exhale to fold and round forwards. Good. From this position, inhale to reach it up. Straighten out through those thighs as we bring the hands towards the hips and then spin the toes back in. Press the heels out, stack those shoulders and then hinging gently from those hips, we're going to gently lean forwards, crown of the head is the last to drop towards the ground or keep it lifted above the chest. And maybe you stay here or maybe you lower the fingertips towards the floor and press through the heels, allowing the crown of the head to gently lower towards the floor. You might find it quite fun to shift the weight into the toes here. And just notice which parts of the body start to engage as you bring that weight forward into the toes. But continue to press down through the heels to really engage those inner thighs all the way up to the groin and into the hip socket. Pressing through all four corners of the feet. To come out, inhale to soften those knees, bring the hands to the hips, coming up in stages. Then press through the feet with a nice flat back to rise all the way back up. And then we hop the feet together, we'll step the feet together and we meet at the front of the mat. Okay, so from here we're going to come into our fierce pose. So we're going to step the feet about hip width apart and start to sink the tailbone down as we dust past the ankles. Rock back into our imaginary chair, lift the heart, palms roll in, lift the belly away from the thighs. If this is too much for the shoulders at all, you can bring the hands to the heart or you can bring the hands to the hips and pause in your chair pose here. Otherwise, palms roll in, we reach ahead. Lift that sternum, a nice buoyant sensation to the sternum as we reach the crown of the head up. And then from this position, we're going to bring those palms to touch in front of the heart. Press that right knee up in towards the chest and start to lean out through that heel as you reach the crown of the head forward. Soften those shoulders away. Point those right toes down and come into our warrior three balance here. So anchoring through that right heel as you reach the crown of the head forwards and keep lifting from the inner thighs rather than opening any of the hips here. So keep reaching forwards. And then from this position, we're going to step that right foot back. Bring those fingers up and overhead, cross behind the neck as we then float the palms down and spin out on that back foot. bringing those toes towards the long edge as we sink into that front knee. Soften those shoulders and imagine you're holding a broom between one hand and the other across the back here as you sink between the thighs. Press with the outside edge of the back foot, the big toe out of the front foot, and again imagine that skin stretching outwards from the groin to the inside of that left knee as you come into your warrior two. Again, if at any point this is too much for the shoulders, you can bring the hands to the hips, otherwise stay here, reaching the palms in opposite directions and a nice upright quality to the sides of the waist here. Good. From this position, we're going to slide the back palm down the thigh as we reverse the front palm up towards the sky into our reverse warrior. Soften that back shoulder down the side waist. Keep tucking that tailbone underneath and drawing the belly in as we reach those top fingertips up towards the sky. Reversing our warrior. From here, we're going to straighten up now into our reverse triangle. So straighten through that front leg. Keep reversing but pressing through that big toe out of the front foot as we look up towards the hand, towards the front of the room or down towards the floor. Good. From this position, we're going to put a bend back in that front knee, bring the front palm down to balance, and then we're going to turn out on that back heel as we sink between the hips and lower into a surface lunge, Skandasana. Soften those shoulders, right knee and toes spin up towards the sky, and then from here we're going to lower the left palm to the inside of the thigh and open up towards the right. Palm floats outwards, holding here. Good. And then from this position, we're going to press through that bent knee side of the room to come all the way back up to a warrior two on the opposite side of the room. So from here, pressing through the foot, come all the way up, spinning out on that front knee as we bring those palms out and press through the back heel here. Same thing, other side. So rolling that top palm up, reversing our warrior, lengthen through the fingertips, reaching in opposite directions, soften the shoulders away. Press up that front leg as we straighten out. And then from this position, we're going to exhale back through a bent knee as we bring those palms back to warrior two. And we're going to and then from this position, we're going to spin the toes in, step them out towards the opposite side of the mat, and bring our palms together as we step back towards the front of the room, ready to repeat on the other side. So from this position, sinking into our imaginary chair. So sink that tailbone down, sweep those fingertips down past the ankles if you can, and roll those palms in. Knees come no further than the toes. Lift and lengthen through the crown of the head as we tuck the tailbone, lift the belly in. Then from this position, we're going to bring the hands towards the heart as we lift that left knee in towards the chest. Press up through that standing right leg as we then start to hinge from the hips and press through that back foot, toes point down, hips pin in towards center for our warrior three. Holding here, the tailbone and the head reaching in opposite directions, and then step it back. Turning out on that back foot as we turn into our warrior two. So now I'm facing the back of the room, palms face down. So I'm just going to turn and face you. And then we're going to practice the same thing on the other side. So spin that front palm up, slide that back palm down the thigh as we reach up and lengthen up and back into our reverse warrior here. Sinking deeply into that front knee. From this position, we're going to start to lengthen through that front knee as we come into our reverse trikonasana. And then from here, we're going to sink back in through our warrior two. So bring those palms to level, looking at over those front fingertips. From here, we're going to start to spin up on that back heel as we sink between the thighs. So bring those left toes up, hands rest against the heart, Skandasana. Lengthen through the crown of the head, ease open that right hip as you slide the right palm down to the inside and open broadly towards the front of the room and hold in our surface lunge here. Left knee and toes pointing up towards the sky. Good, holding. Then as we're ready, we're going to exhale, close those palms back off towards the heart center, press for that bent knee side of the foot, come back over, up through those fingertips and turning into our warrior two, so palms down. So turning back, toes in, front knee is bent over front ankle and reversing our warrior on this side. So soften the shoulders, micro bend in the elbows, looking out over front fingertips and turning front palm up, sliding back palm down the thighs, we reach up and back towards the back of the room. Soften those shoulders away. And then from this position, we're going to exhale back through warrior two. And we're going to turn on that back heel now and step towards the front of the mat. So bring that back palm around, hands towards the heart, step forwards into our fierce pose. And then from here, we're going to sit back into our imaginary chair, with those hands resting at the heart center. And you can take this into a high twist. So you can twist over towards the right, or you can bring that elbow down and tap the thigh, or bring it to the outside of the thigh as you stack the shoulders and draw the elbows into one line. Still no weight bearing on the wrists or shoulders here. Just gentle tapping of the elbow, check the knees aren't racing. Twisting over towards the right. And then from this position, we're going to step the left foot back. So twisting to the right, we step the left foot back and hold the upper body in place. So looking over towards that right shoulder, sinking through the hips, keeping that front knee bent over that front ankle. Good. And then from this position, we're going to come back through center into our chair. So step that left foot forwards, back into our chair. Let's folding forwards, Uttanasana. Bring those hands towards the shins or the floor. Crown of the head stays lifted above the chest, or you can lower the crown of the head towards the floor here. And then as we're ready, we're going to inhale, slide those palms up the shins, open across the chest, then sinking back into our imaginary chair as we dust past the ankles and roll the palms in. Same thing, other side, palms to press. Twisting high, or tap the elbow across or to the outside of the thigh as you bring the shoulders into one line, knees alongside one another, twisting from the waist here, dropping that top shoulder down away from the ears, increasing the length through the neck. And then from this position, stepping the right foot back. Keeping the upper body exactly where it is, sliding the feet apart. Shoulders nicely stacked, elbows in one line, palms gently pressing. Good. Then from this position, step that right foot forwards, back into our imaginary chair, and then exhale to unwind and fold. Good. Allow the crown of the head to dangle towards the floor. Maybe take opposite elbows and gently swing from side to side. Just swing like a pendulum from side to side here. Good. And then from this position, we're going to sweep those palms out towards the side of the room, roll those palms up, flatten the back as we lift the belly away from the thighs and rise all the way up. Interlacing those fingertips, point the index fingers up and sinking into a squat now. So sink back towards the heels, come into the toes and lengthen through the sides of the waist here. Turn those knees out and see if you can maintain that squat balance, stretching out through the soles of the feet as well. And then from this position, we'll close those knees off and drop to the knees, coming onto the tops of the feet for Virasana or hero pose. So soften those shoulders away from those ears. Just going to move back a little. Bring those palms to the thighs here. And you can stay with tucked under toes, or you can rest on the tops of the feet. And just draw that belly in and underneath the ribcage, shoulders soften over those hips. Take a moment to allow the mind, the body to settle, the chin nicely parallel to the thighs. Spine nice and long, eyes soft or maybe even closed. Good, and then from this position we're going to inhale, blink the eyes open and kneel up. So always feel free to pad up the knees on a blanket if you need to, or a towel, okay? If that's an option, take it. Okay, we're going to tuck the toes under and bring the hands towards the hips here. So tuck those toes under, hands at the hips and roll those shoulders back. Now slide those palms down towards the low spine if you can and walk those elbows in. As we pin the thighs in towards centre, imagine pressing a cushion or a brick between the thighs. And as you do, lengthening the heart forwards and reaching the crown of the head towards the back of the room for camel. Okay, so holding here, shoulders soft away from those ears, open across the chest. Knit those thighs in towards centre, spine nice and long here. And then from here we're going to exhale, gently sink towards the heels. We're going to rest on the crown of the head here. So again, no weight on the hands or the shoulders. We're going to lower the forehead and then the crown of the head towards the floor and lift those hips off the heels. As we then slide the palms down towards the shins, palms roll up, shoulders soften down away from those ears, or maybe you can reach the heels and remain in the same position for Sukhasana, hair pose. So just finding a gentle pressure for the crown of the head here. Keep the neck nice and long, always in complete control of how much pressure you're placing on the crown of the head. So fingertips and palms rest alongside the shins, or maybe you loop the palms around the heels, but keep that belly drawing in, that back nice and hollow. Just take a few breaths here, just withdrawing the senses a little. We call this pratyahara, withdrawal. And we know that most of the stimuli in the world around us is visual, so for fast acting relief we can close the eyes. And then as we're ready, we're going to rest on the tops of the feet, bring the hips towards the heels for a child's pose, resting the forehead against the floor. And then from here we're going to gently bring those fingertips alongside those hips. Sit back on the heels, bring those hands towards the hips and sweep the feet off towards one side. Slide those feet around, sitting nice and tall in our Dandasana, our staff pose. So shuffle forwards, again scooping out any flesh from underneath the seat. Draw those palms over those thighs, shoulders soften over those hips, draw those toes back. Press through an imaginary wall with the feet. Maybe you have a wall you can press against, that can feel quite nice. And then from here we're just going to bring those fingertips forwards, palms roll in, draw the belly in as we start to slowly round and lower all the way towards the floor. Resting the palms out towards the side of the room, palms spin up. Walk those heels in to lengthen through the spine, so untuck the tailbone, and then maybe the feet walk wide, the knees rest in. Or maybe you allow those ankles to drift open, those toes to flop open towards the side of the room. Tuck those shoulders down away from those ears and just descend into bliss for a few moments of calm. Tapping into that deep well of tranquility that resides within us. Close the eyes, chin in towards the chest, and just rest. Savasana. Allow the mind to quiet, the body to quiet, the body to rest. Any last remnants of tension, just let it go. Just noticing the rise and the forward of the belly, that expansive quality. And then just scanning the whole body with the mind from the tips of the toes to the crown of the head. The whole body relaxed. And if you'd like to stay here a while longer, feel free to press the pause button. That's the joy of video classes, that you can press the pause button if you'd like to stay here a while longer. Take as long as you need. Otherwise, no hurries, no worries. We're going to gently start to lengthen and deepen the breath again, breathing the way that we want to live. And then gently start to coax the body into making some small movements of fingers, toes, wrists and ankles. And then maybe we gently slide the feet back in towards one another, walk the heels back in. Perhaps we loop the elbow creases around the knees and hug the knees in towards the chest. Maybe make some low back circles in one direction, then the other direction. Rocking a little from side to side. And then gently rolling onto your right hand side and pause for a moment. Resting the head against the palms. And then gently pressing through all the way up to a comfortable seat, facing this way. And so ends our no hands, no shoulders yoga. Let me know how it went for you down in the comments below. Maybe give it a like. Maybe even I can persuade you to subscribe to the channel. Who knows? And then bring those palms into press at the heart center and bring the chin in our gesture of reverence, Anjali Mudra. Then palms in front of the forehead for loving thoughts, to the heart center for loving intentions, and to the lips for loving communications. Thank you so much for a beautiful practice today. I cannot wait to see you next time. Thank you so much. Namaste.